right, John, how are we doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Dude, I'm so glad to see you. We had an excellent time seeing each other in real life at Rare Evo. That was a blast. We went to the Hops on Cardano party where they were displaying their new beer, or the beer that they created for the event. It was the Hazy Days IPA, and man, was that delicious. Um, But so for everybody out there that isn't so familiar with who you are, tell me a little bit about yourself, or let them know who you are, John, what you've done before in the past, and kind of like how you got here, your journey before crypto, and then like in here now, right?
Yeah, so I always find this an interesting point is that so when I was 15, I actually went to CU Denver to study mathematics because I had taken every math course imaginable offered through high school. And ironically, Charles went to CU Denver at 15 as well to study math. I think he continued on to Boulder. But I ended up at UC Irvine and I studied math and philosophy. Those were my two majors. So, I worked, my first job out of college was for Nike. And I was kind of in like an IT role, and I ended up uh, creating a solution for them that automated their catalog production for several of their subsidiaries, saving them, like $350,000 a year, and I won an Employee of the Month. I went on to start a enterprise apparel software company. I think I was like 26 at that time, and did some work for Quicksilver and other enterprise apparel companies. And then eventually I went on to Rexel, where I led a team to create a mobile e-commerce platform that was distributed in 8 different countries, and it actually did $1 billion worth of revenue in its first year. Now that's a company that does like 16 or 17 billion dollars of revenue a year, but it was still like a huge win for the company. And then I worked for a consulting firm, and I was kind of like a front end software architect, and I worked on projects for AstraZeneca and Family Dollar and other large companies, and those were seven-figure solutions. Right before this, I was actually working for like a research institution, creating academic mobile surveys that leverage IoT, um, for like Brown and Stanford and University of Michigan. So that was really cool. And then, I happened upon Cardano and really crypto, and I mean, it was like a perfect fit for me because having studied math and philosophy and having like a software background, there's so many aspects of there's the philosophical aspects to crypto that really appeal to me, decentralization, uh, and then also the math, involved in cryptography and everything like that is pretty interesting as well. I don't focus on smart contracts and blockchain language and stuff like that. I focus more on the front end and then like the product design aspects functionally. But we have a really smart team, and so I'm able to lean on others to kind of take charge of that aspect.
That's fantastic. So, when was like the first time that you actually heard about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is oftentimes the first one that people hear about. But when was the first time that you, I guess, heard about crypto if it wasn't Bitcoin? But when was that?
It was back in I want to say like 2013 or something around then. And my my friend and boss who would let at Nike, who would later become a business partner in my consulting firm. He had acquired a bunch of Bitcoin, and he was like telling me about like the fun stuff that he was doing with it. Like, I don't want to get into too many details there, but
Totally
you know,
good.
I was always like, maybe I should think about getting some Bitcoin, or like, and then I remember when like Ethereum started becoming hot or whatever. I think it was like $7 or something. And I was like, oh, maybe I should get a bunch of this like Ethereum. And I was like, it's probably like a fad or something. I don't know. I was so busy with like my other work and stuff like that that I really never took the opportunity to really learn about it. And in hindsight, I wish I would have been more curious back then. Yeah.
I always, when I think about that, I always think of the meme, where the meme is like, you know, have taken my life seriously in 2009 during the housing like crisis, and instead, been mature and just went and bought myself a house when I was in seventh grade or whatever. Like
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
think about that kind of thing, and that's sort of how I feel about crypto and Bitcoin. It's like, man, like, you kind of have to be at a certain place before you like actually take it seriously, and then you like look under the hood and it's actually amazing. So I feel like yeah, you know I wish that instead of being in high school I was just like skipping high school mining Bitcoin. That would have been awesome. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, it's tough though because like there's always a narrative around it from the national media and so on and so forth that like it's not that it's there's scams and so on and so forth. So I think unfortunately, that certainly impacted uh you know m- myself like really taking it seriously or really looking into it. But yeah, I mean, I didn't. It's not like I really knew that much about it back then. I was focused on, whatever company I was trying to help at the time, or so it wasn't until, I came into Cardano, or I had friends that were really interested in Cardano, that I really like took the time to understand the technology behind it and why it was so important, like to the future. So yeah.
That's absolutely 100%. So when you found Cardano and then you ended up staying here to build, what was it that inspired you to come to Cardano, and then why did you stay?
Yeah, I mean, I had a friend that was involved with Cardano about 3 years ago. Like, he was taking part in some early Cardano DeFi activities, like trying to quote unquote mine some liquidity or stake some liquidity on Ethereum that would be like essentially bridged to Cardano, like those tokens, early Cardano tokens like Charlie 3 and Giro and Paribus and so on and so forth. And I got involved with that just as an investor because my friend told me about the opportunity. Obviously I watched some videos with Charles, and I was really inspired by him. So essentially, that whole liquidity mining thing did not work out. There was a major fallout between those two entities, and it left like 2,000 people like essentially losing like a tremendous amount of money, right? And so I wanted to help. I wanted to help these people. So I started CSWAP to with the original goal of creating a superior project that gave these folks who got harmed like an opportunity to be a part of what they had originally like invested in, right? Now over time, they say no good deed goes unpunished. That aspect of the project, that drive, that motivation has lessened just because so much time has passed and a lot of folks have kind of just accepted their losses. Like there was a settlement, and I mean, people got maybe 1% of their money back through the settlement or whatever. But now after 3 years of building, with my team and with a loyal community who has supported us, my focus is on them and the team, and you know, ensuring that everybody who has supported us, has some skin in the game, like has the best chance of being rewarded. So, uh, yeah.
100%. So, so for people out there that are or have heard CSWAP's name or might not be familiar with CSWAP, what is the goal of CSWAP, and what is your all's like long term big vision with what you're building?
Yeah, I mean, eventually when we started, we were going to start with a token DEX, and then we saw that there were several, or at least a few, that had a backing from Wave Financial, millions of dollars. I still thought that we could be competitive with our backgrounds, as the team kind of came together. Like some of the first folks to join, like, are incredibly talented. So I thought we could still be competitive, just bootstrapping it ourselves. But we kind of looked at what the needs were or the opportunities were in the Cardano ecosystem, and just from a cash flow and revenue stream perspective, we saw that there was more opportunity at that time in NFTs, because we saw what JPEG Store was making versus what some of the token decks were making, and we're like, oh, well, we can help grow the NFT space, and we'll have enough revenue to cover our overhead, right? So, um, and then we also just saw that there was a need for innovation in this area, and I um, I view their well, even Charles said that NFTs have more flexibility than fungible tokens in the sense that they can have metadata and represent unique assets, where, fungible tokens are essentially just units, representing, a fraction of a whole, essentially. So I think there's so much potential for NFTs as you know, health cards, or receipts, or concert tickets, or um, representation of unique real estate assets, so on and so forth. And a lot of my career has been normalizing data and assets, whether or like in the apparel industry, for instance, normalizing a lot of data and normalizing a lot of assets, uh, to create an efficient system, right? So that's what was really interesting about NFTs to me. Was so with our NFT decks, essentially we did just that, and we normalized NFTs, which are all unique, and created liquidity pools for them, so that anybody could add liquidity for NFTs, earn fees in a decentralized manner when people trade in and out of these pools. And then over time, unfortunately, the NFT market on Cardano just fell off a cliff. Just everything went down over a period of time. And in terms of like an AMM or a DEX, like, you expect some volatility in the market, but if things just move in one direction, it doesn't make a ton of sense to put all of our effort into that. But we did recognize the opportunity of real world asset NFTs, right? And how NFTs were perfect for unique real world assets, right? So as a proof of concept, we brought 10 real world asset collections on chain on CSWAP market, and that went really, really well, in the sense that we brought them on chain at cost. created liquidity pools for them, and then people can trade, gold coins, silver coins, Pokemon cards in and out of these liquidity pools, and it just works great. And we're like, hey, this is something that can really, really scale. Like we created an automated process for like the creation of certificates, like marrying the asset to the token, the asset name, and we found like secure storage and insurance and everything like that. And it's like um, there's a huge business opportunity just in NFT based real world assets. For instance, if you wanted to sell a collectible or something on eBay, you would have to pay 12% listing fee and then deal with all the shipping and all that. Where it's like for these small form factor, unique real world assets, you could trade them on CSWAP for like 1.5%. You don't have to worry about storage. You don't have to worry about insurance. Like that's all taken care of. So it's an incredibly scalable business model. And the best part about it is it's decentralized so that um, you could act as your own eBay in that regard and collect some fees for yourself by being a market maker or providing liquidity, where that type of option is not available on today's eBay or Amazon, right? So this concept of NFT liquidity pools turned into RWA liquidity pools, and now our vision is to be like the Amazon for real world assets, right? And so marrying the NFT DEX with the token DEX, we're going to be able to accomplish that. We're going to be able to have a marketplace slash DEX that has like all the infrastructure that we need to be, the Amazon of real world assets. So I can't even remember what the question was at this point. But let me hand it back to you, and maybe you need more insight. But yeah, that's what we're
No,
doing.
you're totally good. So you guys have been having this liquidity bootstrap event. You will also have these RWAs that are now being offered. Can you tell me about this liquidity bootstrapping event? And first of all, like why that's important? And I know that you all have a decentralized reward model where 100% of the platform fees from all of the products go to stakers and farmers of the token. Can you explain to me how that actually works? And why people should be excited about it.
Yeah. So first off, we minted a token, the CSWAP token, that's now trading on MinSwap over a year ago, and our team provided the liquidity. And that token's been trading, for over a year. There's over 600 holders. And shortly before we announced the LBE, I think it was trading at 1 ADA cent, and then it was trading in a range of a point 0.8 ADA cents to 1 ADA cent or something like that. But the issue was is that I had people in our Telegram and DMing me telling me that they wanted to get into CSWAP, but there wasn't enough liquidity. So like the price impact would be too high. Um, so um, so the solution to that is to create more liquidity for the token so that people who want to trade, 5,000 ADA or 10,000 ADA, like there's plenty of liquidity to be able to do that without moving the price by like 10 or 20%, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, alongside that, like we need a new token because our current token has no burn mechanism. So we need a token with mint and burn capabilities because we have a multi-chain and cross-chain strategy, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. So it's a new token, but the CSWAP token that's trading right now on MinSwap can migrate to this new token, right? So we need to upgrade our token, we need to um, we need to grow our liquidity, right? Uh, Especially for the fact that we're launching our token decks, within the next few weeks. And so we want to start, with a nice chunk of CSWAP ADA liquidity on our token decks, and that's where it's going to trade. And all of our smart contracts are built around this new CSWAP token with mint and burn functionality. So we need to create some nice new liquidity for this token, and that's the point of the LBE. It also offers people like who want to get in with 5,000 ADA or 10,000 ADA or 50,000 ADA or 100,000 ADA an opportunity to get into the token without the price impact of like an AMM. Because if you tried to buy that many tokens via a DEX with even with decent liquidity, there would be significant price impact, so that you're either paying more or you're pushing the price up, creating selling opportunity for others. This allows just everybody to kind of get into the token at a predictable, price point, you know, and so it's an opportunity that we're offering to the community to get involved with the project. We also want to grow our holders. We have over 600 holders of the, you know, original CSWAP token that will be named CSWAP Classic, but we'd love to have more holders. We think, everybody on Cardano should
A
look
C
into
swap
getting
holder.
involved in CSWAP. Absolutely, I think it's a tremendous opportunity to be part of a truly decentralized project that shares like the ethos of like Cardano, and it's not just a philosophical decision. It's a good business decision, and I can go into why I think that is as well. Is
Yeah,
that okay?
sorry. You can. Yeah, no, I was gonna say absolutely go into that. I was gonna say you might be able to hear my ankle biters. I have
Oh,
two of
I
them.
did.
One
Oh,
that's
that's
three
okay.
months
I've
and
got
one
a
that's
dog.
4 months old.
I love dogs, dude. Don't worry about it. Or
I
are those
love it.
kids? Are those kids or dogs?
Oh well, I have both, so four altogether.
You said ankle biters. I was like, oh, I said dogs. I was like, what if those are his kids? That's kind of
Oh, no, no, no.
insulting.
I have both. I have both.
Oh,
But
okay,
yeah.
okay.
So go into that. Tell us about the liquidity bootstrapping, and like why people should get involved because I think that this is a really great opportunity, and like it has me thinking because I'm a founder of a project or a co-founder of a project, and we've been doing some things with our treasury, making some moves into different kinds of plays to generate a little bit more revenue for the project. And so, like in my mind, one of our biggest wins here lately has been Talos. Right, Talos was a really good win for us, but one of the things I've been thinking lately is I would like to make a lot of our holders a holder, even if it's only like by a little bit, right? So that they can be excited when they see the AI on Twitter respond to a message, right? They can be like, oh, we're part of this community. They gave us this. So, like, CSWAP is another opportunity that I see there where us as a project could take part in that. And then with those tokens, we could, rain or tip some of those tokens to people in the community so that way there are more holders but also we're kind of like all in the same boat together, so that was just what was coming to mind to me.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So, I mean, in terms of a DeFi utility token on Cardano, I don't feel like there's any more generous business proposition, right? We're so moving forward after our DEX launch, CSWAP will take zero platinum fees, zero, from any of our products. So all we'll still have platform fees, but all of the platform fees will go to CSWAP token stakers and farmers. So this ADA L this CSWAP ADA LP that people can get via the liquidity bootstrapping event can be farmed in either a bronze silver, gold, or platinum farm, and they will earn more CSWAP tokens, especially right now, and then also they'll earn a percentage of the platform fees in ADA. So, the farm the farms will have different APY depending on the amount of time that you lock up. But you'll then be able to take the CSWAP tokens you earn, and CSWAP tokens can be staked independently, just by themselves in bronze, silver, gold, or platinum staking pools. And those can be locked up for different periods of time, and those will earn both CSWAP and ADA yield as well. Now, it's not just from the DEX, it's also from CSWAP Market, and then it's also going to be from all of the multi-chain volume that we have, as well as we expand into Base and Bitcoin as outlined in the DEX paper. So it's an
Hold on.
extremely
I'm going to
generous.
stop you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're telling me that people that take part in the liquidity bootstrapping event, people that hold these tokens and that are farming on CSWAP on Cardano, will also be benefiting from activity and development on Base and Bitcoin as that develops, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you will be able to stake your tokens. You'll earn platform fees from CSWAP Dex, CSWAP Market, and then any products that we put out on Base or Bitcoin or Solana, forever. And um, perhaps Base and Solana will also have some aspects of our Dex on them as well, and people will be able to stake CSWAP tokens there and earn some of the platform fees from Cardano. So it's like we're going to be growing the amount of volume that CSWAP token holders have access to across different chains. Um, all while we're scaling our real world asset offering on Cardano through especially through the support of the community that we've received via Catalyst. And we think Cardano's an amazing chain for third-party enterprises to come on and tokenize real-world assets. And then we'll be able to fractionalize those real-world assets either as NFTs on CSWAP Market, tokens on CSWAP Dex, or as we expand to different chains, they'll be able to fractionalize these Cardano, Genesis, real world assets onto other chains as well. So we're giving the third parties flexibility as to where they distribute these fractionalized real world assets, but the Genesis assets will be on Cardano because of the security and everything else that goes with Cardano. So I think everything I've just told you, if you're not bullish about this project, then there's probably something wrong with you, because this is like an incredible opportunity for anybody that's in the Cardano ecosystem.
Yeah, to me, it sounds kind of like a no-brainer, to be honest, because I mean, you all are already planning on going on to these other chains and developing more, which will create more volume using these other chains that already may have more volume, right? I mean, we're talking about Bitcoin, the biggest liquidity in the crypto ecosystem, and we're talking about Base, which is attached to Coinbase, which Coinbase by itself has over 200 million customers and users, right? And then you also have Ethereum, the second largest crypto by a landslide, right? Um, Absolutely. So I think that that is a really ambitious and very bullish development plan that you have. But I like the fact that the farming and staking that occurs on Cardano is fueled by that growth. So everybody can be a part of the activity on Cardano, but as that expands to the other ecosystems, you benefit even more here on Cardano from that.
Yeah,
I think
exactly. I think for token holders, for CSWAP holders, it gives them real diversification, right? Um, because sometimes volume on one chain might be high, and then on another chain it's high, and then so it's like by giving the Cardano token, or sorry, the CSWAP token access to volume on other chains, it can really reduce risk for our holders of anything negative happening with any of the chains. Let's say there's like a black swan event on Solana or something, and it dumps. Let's say it
yeah, I
crashes
was gonna
50
say
times, and we have
there's
something over there. Yeah, it's like that's just one piece to what we have. So it's like uh, and then also, let's just be honest, like the volume to market cap ratio on Cardano right now is less than ideal. I mean, we're seeing 5 to 10 million ADA and DEX volume a day, which we hope to increase with the addition of our DEX and some of our capabilities. But we're seeing $1 billion dollars a day on base, right? So it's like if we can bring some of that volume back to CSWAP holders, back to Cardano, and then also feature Cardano assets on a platform next to base assets, next to Solana assets, Polygon, Avalanche, Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's big for us as well. Then it's just going to help uh, the Cardano ecosystem and community get off of Cardano Island a bit. It's going to bring new users into Cardano. Uh, there are multi-chain platforms out there, both from a third-party data provider perspective, as well as like something like Magic Eden that doesn't have Cardano stuff on it. So it's like if someone's on there browsing for NFTs or real-world assets or tokens and they don't see the Cardano ones, that's not good for Cardano. So we're focused on real world assets, which is a huge narrative, and then multi-chain to cross-chain strategy. And what that means is when things like Midgard, when things like Rosenbridge, when things like Sundial become available, and for us to be truly interoperable with Bitcoin, with EVM chains, then we'll already have these assets in our ecosystem, and it'll be much easier for us to integrate these new like bridging solutions or layer twos or whatnot with a multi-chain architecture than it would be if we just had a Cardano app, right, that didn't support these other assets and then had to go from 0 to 100 and somehow porting this app over to something that can support multi-chain assets. So we're not going to make excuses. We're not going to be bottlenecked by any delays in technology or whatever. We're ready to roll like in 2025. I think we showed that with our RWA POC that we did on CSWAP Market. Cardano Foundation was excited enough about it to give us their seal of approval for the Catalyst funding, and we're ready to go. And we think the ecosystem is going to love our decks. Like it's going to be Plutus v3. It's going to be a clean interface, modern, like a terminal like you'd see on like Solana or something like that. We're gonna have an amazing like off-chain data system that emulates speeds like you would see on an EVM chain that takes the pre-mempool data and makes it accessible to users. And then, I mean, we've got a lot of other innovations in store as well. So I'm super excited about our DEX launch, and I encourage everybody to take part in the LBE, to be a part of CSWAP. A project that's been building on Cardano for 3 years. That prescribes to the Cardano ethos of decentralization, banking the unbanked. Being there for the little guy, the big guy, like everyone's treated the same, and the team's incentives align with the community through our token utility model. So it's a very strong business proposition, and we hope everyone gets involved.
That sounds really good. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to see what you guys end up rolling out on these other chains. I think what you have is amazing already. I'm going to go really quickly to the two questions that I like to ask everybody that don't have anything to do with crypto. The first one is, if you could go anywhere in the world to eat anything, where are you going and what are you eating like for dinner? Say Charles is buying, which by the way, I did hear Charles on a space talking about CSWAP and how excited he was about some of the things you guys are doing. So, I mean, I think that that's cool. Uh,
Oh, that's nice to hear. That's
yeah,
great.
I'm pretty sure he just like mentioned it. He was like, oh, yeah, CSWAP and all these other things are on there. And I was like, yeah, man, CSWAP is doing some cool things. But where would you go? What are you eating?
I would probably go to Hawaii and eat some fresh fish or seafood or sushi. They have some great like Japanese restaurants down there. I have never been to Japan, so that would maybe that it's a tie between eating seafood or sushi in Hawaii versus going to Japan and eating sushi there. I think that would be pretty cool as well.
That's super dope. Okay, and then the second question is always when you're doom scrolling on like a streaming platform, what is it that you look for in a show that then pulls you in? Like, what does it have to have? What characteristics are the thing you're most often go to?
Hmm. I definitely like shows that have a lot of like authenticity in them. Um, so kind of like this, like where it's kind of an unfiltered Q&A, with public figures and stuff. Like I like, I mean,
Like the Lex
everybody
Friedman
loves.
podcast?
Yeah, I like Lex Friedman. I like Joe Rogan. I like how they're themselves. I mean, Lex Friedman's like a brilliant guy, so he has some really interesting conversations. So yeah, those are definitely two of my favorite, like Lex Friedman, Joe Rogan. But I mean, I'll pretty much watch anything where I feel like it's super authentic. It just makes me feel more engaged. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, me personally, like I like dark and creepy. So if something is dark and creepy, there's some kind of mystery. I'm usually in. I'm usually there for it. But 100%, I love Lex Friedman. Dude, some of the ones they'll be like 3 and 4 hours long about like extraterrestrial, like just like biology or like the probabilities of the existence, the multiple levels, stages of civilization, all that stuff. I get lost in it. Um, and then
It's
yeah, but
crazy. Yeah. He
hundred
definitely
percent.
goes down the wormhole on some of these things, and it's super interesting. I enjoy it.
Absolutely. All right, but thank you, John. This has been a pleasure. A lot of that information is great. What's your last final comments of what you would want to say to everybody out there who may or may not be familiar with CSWAP? Obviously, the liquidity bootstrapping event is really exciting, but what would be your final?
I mean, just for now, like since we're running the LBE, my final thought would be join the LBE. Like, I'm surprised not to see more people getting involved, honestly. Like we're I think I think folks may have an association with CSWAP and NFTs. Um, and it's like we're so much more than that. Like we have a huge vision and we have an extremely gifted team. So definitely take a look at our Dex paper. Take a look at our LBE portal, which is really cool. And just give it some thought. And I mean, you have about 3.5 days left, so definitely check it out.
Excellent. Well, I love that. Thank you so much for joining me today, John. And anytime you guys have some new updates or things that you want to come talk about or you want to share, we'd love to have you on. We'd love to have you back on all of the time, always invited. But thank you so much. Thank you all that are watching. please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're following CSWAP. Make sure that you are looking at their CSWAP light paper, right? And all of that. They just it came out. It was awesome. I read through it. I am not the most technical, but I will say that I fully understand it. I think it was very well written. So I highly recommend everybody. And I'm going to have all of the links to all this information in the description. I'll have links to the liquidity bootstrapping event and everything. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.